Time for the news on QTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. The headlines. Government will in the next 48 hours evacuate ailing opposition People's Party President Mike Mlongoti to South Africa for specialized medical treatment. Richard Zulu, the 3-year-old boy of Chipata, is recovering well after Monday's operation to remove 9 needles from his body at the University Teaching Hospital. Here now is the news in detail. A government will in the next 48 hours evacuate ailing opposition People's Party President Mike Mlongoti to South Africa for specialized medical treatment. Minister of Health Chitalu Chilufya has disclosed that President Lungu has authorized the evacuation of Mr. Mlongoti, who is currently admitted at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH. Dr. Chilufya, who could not state what he is suffering from, has told a journalist in Osaka that the former Minister of Information and Broadcasting Services has been in hospital for over 10 days now. He states that President Lungu ordered the evacuation of Mr. Mlongoti for specialized treatment in South Africa after assessing his condition. Dr. Chilufya says President Lungu is concerned about the welfare of the opposition leader.
His Excellency President Edgar Chagwa Lungu is concerned with the health of opposition leader Mike Mlongoti, and because universal health coverage leaves no one behind, universal health coverage takes on board every citizen, and the health of our opposition figures is of concern to the head of state. And democracy is richer when we all look at ourselves across the political aisle with fairness, with sincerity. And the President of the country, His Excellency President Chagwa Lungu, has expressed concern with the health of President Mike Mlongoti, leader of the opposition. So after having assessed his condition and after having engaged with our technical colleagues here, the President has authorized that President Mlongoti be evacuated for further treatment in South Africa. And that will happen within the next 48 hours.
Thank you.
And the son to Mr. Mlongoti, Mike, has thanked the government for the care and support rendered to his father and the entire family.
For us as a family, we're so grateful because from the first day that our father fell ill, we did make contact with management at UTH, who were extremely responsive. The ambulance was dispatched on time and was rushed here. From the day that we came, we were received by the acting MD, by the Dr. Schizia. The MD was out, and throughout the period that we've been here, they've done everything possible. So as a family, we are very grateful that this kind of hand was extended to us. When we brought my father here, he wasn't walking, but through their efforts, they managed to put him where he is today. So as a family, we commend the team here. They did everything they could. So for that, we say thank you so much. We are so grateful.
Your names are
My full names are Mike Mlongoti Jr.
Are you also a politician?
Not yet.
Meanwhile, the Minister of Health has also visited ailing former Republican Vice President Lupando Mwape, who has been admitted at UTH for the past 4 days. Dr. Chilufya, who could not equally disclose the illness, has told a journalist that Mr. Mwape is, however, recovering very well. He says President Lungu has since wished the former Republican Vice President a quick recovery.
The President of the Republic of Zambia, His Excellency Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and the Acting President, Madam Nongawina, both wish Mr. Lupando Mwape, His Honor Mr. Lupando Mwape, a quick recovery and wish him well. So our team is doing everything possible, but so far he has done very well and is stabilizing and is out of danger.
And Mr. Mwape has expressed gratitude to government and the Minister of Health in particular for the support he has received during his illness.
Much better to since you took over the reins of my sins. It has been very, very helpful from the time of evacuated to UTH. The life was studied up until this hour. the officers, the executive director, the nursing staff, the paramedics have been on their feet, trying to survive. It has been exemplary. You feel proud that you have saved within Zambia, and people are responding as it should be. It has been quite an inspiring service, minister, and through it, I wish to extend my gratitude to the head of state and government, His Excellency the President, his cabinet.
Richard Zulu, the 3-year-old boy of Chipata, is recovering after undergoing a surgery to remove 9 out of the 19 needles still embedded in his body at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH. Minister of Health, Stalu Chilufya, has disclosed that the boy's condition is stable. Addressing a media briefing in Lusaka, Dr. Chilufya said more than 3 hours the surgery to remove the 9 needles was led by lead surgeon Bryce Mvulani. Dr. Chilufya has told a journalist that the removed needles were in the neck, chest and abdomen of the 3-year-old boy. Our staffer Nakaonga has more in this report.
Little Richard is close to being free from the pain and anguish that his body has suffered as a result of needles and foreign bodies that were mysteriously embedded in his body. 3-year-old Richard Zulu was discovered to have had 44 needles embedded in different parts of his body late last year, and 25 of the needles were removed at Chipata General Hospital in Eastern Province before he was evacuated to UTH, where the rest of the needles are expected to be removed. 9 needles from the remaining 19 were on Monday removed at the University Teaching Hospital in an over 3 hours operation conducted by a combined team of local surgeons and nurses. Health Minister Dr. Stalu Chilufya today visited the boy, who is in stable condition, after he earlier held a briefing to inform the nation on the current state of Richard's condition.
Operation targeted foreign bodies and needles in the lower neck, in the chest, and in the abdomen. And we found 2 that were in the neck, and 2 that were around the heart, and 2 that were in the lungs, and 3 in the liver. The colleagues removed a number of wires and foreign bodies, and they removed 9 and left 11 in situ. This was because we needed to reduce the operation time and also to ensure that the child was given time to recover from the initial trauma. And we are planning to get back and do the second operation at UTH to remove those that are in the pelvis. But in the delicate areas, in the neck, around the pericardium, the needles were removed. Looking well.
Then the wet it's better.
Right, looks much better. That's very good. So colleagues from the press, Miracle Richard. Sister, how's Miracle Richard doing? The lead surgeon doing the separation of Siamese twins was Dr. Vladi. And he was still the lead surgeon in the operation of Richard here. And we have another, because we're very gender balanced, very strong pediatric surgeon, Dr. Shinondo. Yes, Dr. Shinondo. And we have a very strong team. The anesthetist is there, Dr. Charlie. He's the one who's been leading the anesthesia both in the transplant, surgery and so on and so forth.
And the minister later visited the Siamese twins from Kawe, currently admitted to UTH, of whom he earlier gave an update on their condition.
Investigating, they're stabilizing them. As you can tell, there's improvement in their state every day. But investigations done so far show that they do share the liver, and the portal veins are separate, but some of the vasculature there is the sharing. They do have some challenges with the kidneys. One of them has a challenge with the kidneys, and one of them, some of the ventricles in the head have been challenged. The other one is normal. So our team is still looking at other visceral organs with higher resolution investigative tools, and they'll be able to give us a more comprehensive statement as the investigations proceed. So for now, we're happy to note that they are stabilizing, and we're still evaluating them, and next course of action will be determined to keep the country informed.
The minister also used the occasion to visit People's Party President, Mr. Mike Mlongoti, whom government is expected to evacuate to South Africa in the next 48 hours following authorization from President Edgar Lungu. Dr. Chilufya also visited former Vice President Dr. Lupando Mwape, who is currently admitted at the University Teaching Hospital. Nakaonga reporting for QTV News in Lusaka.
The Southern Africa Development Community SADC has called for peace in the Democratic Republic of Congo DRC as final results of the just-ended elections are being released. SADC is urging all political parties, candidates and their supporters to exercise patience and refrain from acts of violence. The regional body has taken note of the disputes that have arisen, but encourages all concerned stakeholders to remain calm and act in a way that consolidates democracy and preserves peace. The intergovernmental organization is calling upon all stakeholders with concerns regarding the accuracy of the results to pursue any election dispute about the provisional results peacefully. It has advised them to do this through avenues provided by the existing national legal framework and resolve their differences through political dialogue among all stakeholders. SADC has since welcomed the release of the provisional results of the presidential election held under the combined presidential, legislative and provincial elections on the 30th of December 2018. The regional body has also congratulated the Congolese people, the government of the DRC, all political stakeholders, and the Independent National Electoral Commission, CENI, for conducting the elections. It has further reaffirmed its commitment to continue assisting the DRC in neutralizing the negative forces and other armed groups operating in eastern DRC. This is contained in a statement released by SADC chairperson of the SADC organ on politics, defense and security cooperation and Zambia's Republican President Edgar Lungu. The Teaching Council of Zambia, TCZ, says it has so far registered about 147,000 teachers countrywide since its establishment in 2016. TCZ Registrar Ebi Mubanga says out of 147,000 teachers, 90,000 have applied for practicing certificates, whose issuance commenced on the 27th of December 2018. Dr. Mwanga also disclosed that the council has so far accredited 116 colleges of education since it commenced countrywide compliance inspections last year. Speaking during the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Examination Council of Zambia and the Teaching Council of Zambia aimed at enhancing collaboration and communication, Dr. Mwanga says the council has registered students pursuing teachers' education in colleges, including universities. And Dr. Mwanga says through the Memorandum of Understanding, it is clear that the provision of teacher education in particular will be under careful check. He has stressed that this will result in the attainment of the quality of education, which is the only catalyst for human and national development. Dr. Mwanga is hopeful that the two institutions will continue working together because they have similar aspirations of ensuring that the teaching fraternity has qualified personnel.
Going by the two institutions' legal frameworks, TCZ and ECZ, we cannot exist in isolation. As the saying goes, no man is an island. But even an island is connected to land, otherwise it will be washed away. So through this MOU being signed today, it is clear that the provision of teacher education and education in general will be under careful check. And the results certainly will stand for the benefit of this country. Teachers who are the Teaching Council of Zambia, clients, are supposed to be in conformity with the law. And certainly for us, we don't possess all the tools, even the whole mandate, to check on teachers. So we need such collaborations. Colleges, the same way, they are also supposed to be checked under the regulator. But again, for colleges, I think we have a direct mandate into dealing with their issues. Ladies and gentlemen, endorsing the MOU has more benefits. Among them, the exchange of good practices through professional viable meetings, field research, and strategic consultation, among others. I have no doubt that our joint contribution to national development will go a long way, and this will inspire government, which facilitated the enactment of the two pieces of legislation that establish the two institutions. In this regard, ladies and gentlemen, the rationale behind establishing TCZ and ECZ and maintaining or mandating them accordingly was a matter of value addition to the health education sector.
Speaking at the same event, Examinations Council of Zambia's Executive Director Michael Chilala has expressed optimism that the MOU will enhance their service provision to the country. Dr. Chilala says the MOU will further help ECZ to conduct examinations in a proper manner.
We do not want people with fraudulent qualifications, to flood the labor market and to the disadvantage of those that actually would have contributed to the development of this country. And so, as a result, we are going to work as we move ahead towards broadening the scope of our service. And we hope to do so as we continue to open provincial offices to make it easier for the members of the public in the various provinces to verify the qualifications where they are. Currently, we have a service center in Lusaka, in Kitwe, in Pika, and in Mongu. And this year we are hoping to open an office in Chipata in our continued service of provinces. We also have planned in our work plan this year to begin the process of developing an online verification system in order that when it is operational, the companies would be able to access the system and verify the qualifications of their employees within the comfort of their doors and their offices. So we will move together with the Teaching Council to save the country beyond what the public knows now. We know we have had challenges in the recent past, and it is with this that we continue to appreciate the support of the ministry that we came out of the challenge we experienced in 2018 of the leakage of the grade 9 exam by replacing the papers in order that we continued with a quality exam.
Meanwhile, Minister of General Education Director of Standards and Curriculum, Dr. Sande Mwape, has encouraged the two institutions to work together in order to enhance professionalism in the country.
As a sector, I would love to indicate that we are proud of Teaching Council of Zambia. We are proud of the Examination Council of Zambia, because as we provide a service to the people of Zambia and meeting our milestones in many reforms we would want to do, and our dreams of ensuring that we broaden the parameters of quality control and assurance in our service packages, the two institutions are not just important but very cardinal. And on such, I remain committed and bring the ministry in position that we shall be each ensure that the two become each brother's keeper, where no one would say you are supposed to do this according to a prescribed time and that you've not done it, so will not do it. I'm expecting that the two institutions will continue working together and achieve their mandate as prescribed. Excitingly, we are aware that the Examination Council of Zambia has grown. For sure, I was trying to quote Dr. Ebi when you were saying that started in 1993. It's far back that, Doc. It's almost 32 years, I suppose, Examination Council of Zambia. Because all of us, we have passed through their examining systems. And what we are bringing on board now as independent tenets should just be enhanced by that. So I want to state and challenge further this memorandum of understanding, the two leaders, that Examination Council of Zambia has gone opening operational level stations in different regions. It's a suggestion. How we will be comfortable to see that in all the areas where Examination Council of Zambia has an office now, we can have a desk and also an office for Teaching Council of Zambia. I hope that would be.
The Human Rights Commission HRC has condemned the killing of the wife of a police officer by suspected armed robbers on Thursday in Lusaka's Makeni Villa. Principal Information Officer Simon Mulumbi says the murder is an act of bad action that constitutes a grave violation of the right to life of the deceased. Mr. Mulumbi says the deprivation of the right to life is in violation of international and regional human rights instruments as well as the Bill of Rights of the Zambian Constitution. He says the HRC therefore finds it regrettable that police officers who protect lives and properties of other people are now being made to pay with the lives of their beloved ones. Mr. Mulumbi has called on members of the public to rally behind the Zambia Police Service as it tracks down the 3 suspected armed robbers who killed the said police officer's wife. He has told QTV News that there is urgent need to put to an end the continuous attacks on law enforcement officers and innocent civilians.
The deprivation of the right to life is in itself a violation of international and regional human rights instruments, as well as the Bill of Rights of the Zambian Constitution, Chapter 1 of the Laws of Zambia, which guarantees the right to life under Article 12. It is also regrettable that police officers who work tirelessly to protect property and life, sometimes working under very difficult conditions, can be made to pay with the lives of their beloved ones, or indeed themselves having their own lives endangered for doing such a noble duty. The Commission is calling upon members of the public to support the police as it tracks down the suspected armed robbers so that they can be brought to book in accordance with the law. And there is also need to ensure that we put an end, any attack of such, manner on law enforcement officers or indeed on any civilians. It is also important, for the communities to continue working in partnership with the police, especially in community policing, so that we create a safe and secure environment where everybody is free to enjoy their lives, is free to enjoy their human rights and freedoms without fear of being attacked or even robbed by any person who might be thinking of engaging in criminal activities.
The opposition UPND has reiterated its call on government to seriously consider going back on the maize market and set a much fair price for the grain. UPND chairperson for rural development, Mono Mapani, says his party has now established that farmers are still holding on to 3/4 of the last farming season's maize harvest. Mr. Mapani says his party has also established that farmers are still willing to sell a 50 kg bag of maize at 100 kwacha to the Food Reserve Agency. In an interview with the QTV News, Mr. Mapani says this is despite the fact that the current price of a 50 kg bag of maize is now trading at 165 kwacha. Mr. Mapani says the UPND has been going around the country and has discovered that farmers are selling maize in a 20-litre bucket, which is equivalent to about 18 kgs at the highest price of 55 kg. He notes that this entails that if a farmer is able to sell the 3 of these buckets, which are equivalent to a 50 kg bag of the grain in weight, to briefcase buyers, the earning would be 165 kwacha. Mr. Mapani says it is therefore important in the interest of the nation that government quickly lobbies Parliament to approve more funds for the FRA to start buying the grain at an attractive price. He is encouraging government to realize that it is still not too late for the FRA to go back on the market and meet its 500,000 metric tons annual reserve target.
We want to put it on record that as farmers we still have some maize that we need to sell to government. But our appeal is, if we sell them to government at the current rate, we won't be able to get what we spent to grow those maize. So our appeal is, we still appeal to the Minister of Agriculture. And this is our 4th time to appeal to him. Yes, it was law passed by Parliament, a statute passed by Parliament. It can still go back and amend the fee or the rate at which maize ought to be bought at. Because the current rate that government is offering, it will be very difficult and impossible for anyone to get the returns. When we spend, we expect at least a certain percentage of plus or profit from what you have spent. But at the rate that government is giving now, you cannot get anything. Instead, actually, you are going to get loss. And this is the loss that we are appealing to the minister, that you have to sit, take back the issues to Parliament, We want our maize to be bought within the country. But if you allow us to sell at your current rate, we won't get anything. Not even what we spent, because the rate is very poor. And these are issues that the minister himself should actually get reality from the ground.
People living with deaf blindness in the country have noted the need for government to advance their rights and come up with a policy framework that is conducive and accommodative. Speaking during a national symposium on deaf blindness in Zambia, Deaf Blindness Association of Zambia President Lacson Chipato expressed concern that people living with deaf blindness have been left behind on issues of national development as well as benefiting from the national cake. Mr. Chipato states that persons with deaf blindness in Zambia receive very little recognition as a people who have a unique disability, and this makes them appear to be invincible in society and even among other persons with disabilities. He has challenged government to acknowledge deaf blindness as a unique condition which needs special attention.
Inaccessible formats of braille, large print, audio, and electronic formats. In celebrating this achievement, we urge our government, through you, Honorable Minister, to ratify this instrument and domesticate into legal framework to ensure that the obligations spelled into the treaty are met. We further appeal to government to consider tactile format in addition to sign language to be an official mode of communication. If all these are not done, it will pose a barrier to the deaf-blind persons' participation on equal basis with others. We appeal to government in collaboration with international agencies to ensure the availability of resources to accommodate the different needs for people with deaf blindness. Additionally, there should be consistent statistical data for persons with deaf blindness to provide evidence during planning, budgeting, programming, policy development, and implementation. Furthermore, an appeal is made to promote the full and effective participation of persons with deaf blindness to ensure that their organization and representatives are permanently consulted on contentious issues and rights to affect which are affecting them during development processes.
Speaking at the same event, Minister of Community Development and Social Services, Oli Papiri, reaffirmed government's commitment to promoting the welfare of persons with deaf blindness. Mrs. Piri spoke in a speech read for her by Ministry's Director, Edmond Mwakalombe.
I therefore wish to reaffirm government's commitment to promoting the welfare of persons with disabilities as required by the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, which your government ratified in 2008 and domesticated into the Persons with Disabilities Act No. 6 of 2012. My ministry will therefore pay particular attention to the unique inclusion needs of persons with disabilities in Zambia and collaborate with other ministries, operating partners, and stakeholders to ensure that their needs are addressed. Lastly, may I take this opportunity to thank the leadership of the Blind Association of Zambia for their efforts in contributing to the promotion of the well-being of persons with blindness and for seeking partnership with the government and other stakeholders. Just like you heard, that this is the first symposium that we are having, so that is a recommendable job, and we would want to encourage you to continue seeking partnership, especially with the government.
The Road Transport and Safety Agency RATSA has given PAR2's bus services a 7 days ultimatum to explain as to why its road license should not be suspended or revoked. The bus services company is reported to have defied the provisions of the statutory instrument SI number 76 of 2016, which restricts the movement of public service vehicles at night. In a letter dated 10th January 2019 addressed to the director of PAR2s and obtained by QTV News, the RATSA has explained to the company that it has violated the conditions of its license. This follows a road traffic accident that happened on the 28th of December 2018 around 04:22 hours involving a PAR2's bus registration number ALD 1807. The accident, in which one life was lost while 5 passengers suffered injuries, occurred about 20 kilometers after Rainbow area along the Kapirimposhi Ndola Road. And RATSA Head of Public Relations Frederick Mubanga has disclosed that an investigation into the crash revealed that dangerous driving on the part of the driver. Mr. Mubanga has identified the driver as Telos Musonda. He says Mr. Musonda failed to notice a stationary vehicle on the road and ended up hitting into it despite a warning device having been mounted to warn oncoming traffic of a broken down ahead. Under the Road Traffic Act number 11 of 2002, the RATSA has powers to revoke, suspend or vary the terms of a road service license if conditions therein are not being complied with. Lusaka Mayor Mao Sampa has directed the Lusaka City Council Police not to harass street vendors whom they find trading outside undesignated places. Mr. Sampa has ordered the Council Police officers to instead take the arrested street vendors to designated areas or markets. Speaking during a cleaning exercise in Lusaka Central Business District, Mr. Sampa, however, noted that it still remains illegal to sell in the streets of Lusaka. Mr. Sampa states that the council police officers should not, on the other hand, beat those selling in the streets, as they are not mandated to do so. Our staffer, Martha Katambi, brings us this report.
At first glance, a person walking through the streets of Lumumba Road would think this is a dumping site. But this is actually Soweto Market, where people trade from every single day. These traders have to face such kind of environment every time they go to do their businesses. Lusaka Mayor Mao Sampa and the Lusaka City Council Police was today in the Central Business District to clean up the area.
When you look at reports in the council, they will say garbage is being collected, and then there are those trucks, the tippers, they are always drawing fuel money for picking up garbage. But does it look like garbage has been picked here for weeks? No. This is at City Market. Seems like there's no council. But money is drawn every day for fuel, but they don't come and pick up the garbage. Tell the director of health, I'll be back here 17 hours. Huh? I should find everything out here. I don't know what magic should play. This is about 12. Given him 5 hours. When we come back at 17, we should find he's picked up everything. How can you prevent cholera with this garbage? And just behind, people are trading and eating.
The chairman of this market, however, had a different story to tell concerning why the garbage had not been collected.
So
why Tawaisa when did they last pick up? Okay,
when was the last time they picked up? 2 weeks ago.
So 2 weeks ago, why Tamaba to me phone? Even I'm dealing on up. Mulanda nani? Wewe ni wabanda wese kuofesi andi nyumba so. Otherwise ndalaba bikapa discipline. But mulaba pe ola mipera receipt nga mapera ndarama 1.5.
They don't issue any receipt. We had a challenge with the breakdown of equipment at the Chunga dam site for the last week. So we were working with the Zambia National Service, AFCONS and AVIC in partnership with the Ministry of Local Government. So as we speak, we didn't have access, through the Chunga dam site. But now the site has been cleared. So we will start collecting, because this problem does not just affect this area. It was citywide, so we have started clearing garbage throughout the city, as you saw from the exercise that we carried today with the mayor. But for this one, we'll definitely have to come in, as the mayor has instructed, today before the end of the day. We should start clearing this.
A trader in the Central Business District had this to say.
Bati abalumendo balaswankeshe mpia balipilisha ekishala babapere mpia bakaunshwa tabalesa muko kusekishala nomba tukambye kulwala kolera elo futi namba 2 ifwe tuleshisha muloti ma market yalisula bale tutanje bale tupepeka bale tukata batutwala mu market nga batutwala ko waya tinchende shalisula nomba bala tutwala kuisa tuilashitisha tuipa abana nensala ino shitanisha kutwala bana kushapesa.
Mr. Sampa has also directed the council police not to focus their energy on street vendors, but rather on keeping the city clean. It now remains to the people of Lusaka to realize that keeping the city clean is not just the job of the government, but involves the participation of every citizen. Martha Katambi, reporting for QTV News in Lusaka.
The Civil Society Constitution Agenda, CISCA, has observed the need for all those participating in the national dialogue process to give the process a chance to succeed other than waste time on trivial matters. CISCA chairperson Bishop John Mambo has told QTV News in an interview that Zambians are enemies of themselves who are drunk with peace, which they are enjoying since independence. Bishop Mambo notes that there is a need to give the process a chance in order to address some lacunas in the amended constitution. He has since cautioned stakeholders not to delay the process.
Everyone is hijacking the process because the leadership in power, they also have interest, because already we're talking about 2021. For good's sake, when are you going to work? Why don't you talk about you having to leave a legacy? This is what I'm doing for today. Come 2021, people will cry for me. Kagame in Rwanda is an example. You can call him names. Because of what he has done in that country, the peace, stability, and even the economic growth and the balance of power, where you don't need to be an opposition, you don't need to be in politics to be a deputy speaker of parliament. No. If the speaker is from the party in power, the deputy will be from the opposition. And even in cabinet, this is not an island. We have failed to do so. And we are doing this before our parents that gave us this freedom. The counters and them are still looking. So you cannot say things are well just by the withdrawal of this donor funding. I'm already.
Diarrhea cases that characterize Lusaka's Ibex Hill and Malata residential areas between the 28th of December and slightly at the start of 2019 are reported to have dropped. About 410 people were hospitalized for diarrhea after water in the areas, which also included Nyumbayanga, was contaminated with microbial bacteria. The contamination follows the sewer overflow, which ended up slipping into the Lusaka Water and Sewerage Company water system. Ibex Hill Health Post environmental technologist Derek Simukanga has informed Lusaka Central Member of Parliament Margaret Manakatwe that the number has reduced from the initial 73 recorded per day to 6 per day. Mr. Simukanga has attributed the reduction in the number of new cases to intensified mitigation measures and improvement on the water quality supplied to consumers.
Yes. What did you do again? We intensify domestic chlorine distribution, health promotion. We had actually 2 vehicles from the district with PA system. Right. So on this one, why they dropped so much from this, it was because Ibex Hill were the problem where they're using storage tanks. Yes. So what happens is they have a pipe, Lusaka water pipe, the inlet. Yes. So they receive in a tank. So the time we were giving health education and everything, those guys were not aware of the situation and what was happening. I see. So we told them to say they should flush out all the water from the tanks. All the water, okay. Yes. Okay. So after they did that, the cases dropped. Because on this day we're just recording, majority were just from Ibex Hill. Right. Ibex Hill. Right. So they dropped. Yes. And then 8, 9, and 10, at least we're back to normal now. 5, 3 a day. Well done. So today I've only seen about 5.
And Mrs. Manakato has expressed her displeasure with the contamination of water supplied to the people in her constituency. Mrs. Manakato, who was taken round Malata community, was disheartened to learn that there was an overflow of sewer in most households due to blockages of water system. Meanwhile, Mrs. Manakato has disclosed that 8 state-of-the-art toilets will in 1 month be placed at Malata Market. Mrs. Manakato says the 120,000 kwacha worth of toilets will alleviate the challenges of sanitation that the marketeers are facing or experiencing at the market.
Government has spent more than $350 million from Millennium Challenge account. Daika, sanitation, water, takiri na lusaka. Manje mwevantu naimwe. You need to own this process so that naimwe ukirini ungenem. Because we are targeting 1.2 million people. But we need to ensure that even us as a people, we are becoming more and more aware that we need to have self-hygiene. We need sanitation. Tikamuzanya ati pa garden yapa, osa building, ndaba drainage ipita. Simuve. You want to build right there. We do that for a purpose, so that the water from the rain can be drained into Ngwerere, and it can go. That's why we're doing that. And for me, this Millennium Challenge program is a good one, but for it to be effective, we need all of you to be part and parcel of owning it and saying hygiene is up there. I'm not happy. I can tell you that I'm not happy. And this is in my constituency. We need to make sure that the drainage is correct. So ili kuja pipe mwakamati kuli pipe kuja tiza konza. Okay?
The Zambia National Students Union, ZANASU, has called on the church to postpone the proposed dialogue from the 18th of January 2019 to a later date, so as to allow for identification and engagement of all key stakeholders, as opposed to having a political party-centered dialogue. Union President Mishe Kakonde says the legitimacy of the current church-led dialogue process is shredded into confusion and limited focus of political parties. Mr. Kakonde has told QTV News that the union is neither satisfied nor sure that the church and the Zambia Center for Interparty Dialogues, ZCID, have put their houses in order to facilitate a meaningful dialogue that will reflect a national character and have desirable results. He says to have a meaningful dialogue, ground rules over objectives, issues, and the participants must be clearly defined to ensure expectations of the participants are properly managed. The ZANASU president feels that this will ensure participants prepare adequately and will contribute to the deliberations in a reasonable manner. Mr. Kakonde has stressed that the ZANASU does not believe that this important national dialogue process should not be reduced to a shadow boxing or a platform for settling political scores between the opposition and the ruling party. Well, that note concludes our news, but before I take a run, here is a recap of stories in the headlines. Government will in the next hours evacuate ailing opposition People's Party President Mike Mulongoti to South Africa for specialized medical treatment. Richard Zulu, the 3-year-old boy of Chipata, is recovering well after Monday's operation to remove 9 needles from his body at the University Teaching Hospital. That's all for the news. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. God bless and enjoy watching QTV Experience Home.